All right, Panther fans. Stu's got a treat for us. Stu, I know you like to do the introductions. Everybody can see Billy's here anyway. We've got the one and only
Billy for
yeah.
Billy's had he's gonna have a really starting Tuesday. It's gonna be nonstop for him. But Billy actually was kind enough to take some time today to come on board and answer a couple of questions. And we were just, I guess, want to get your take on the brackets and where you see the playoffs this year. So thanks for spending some time with us.
Yeah, really appreciate it, Billy. Yep. All right. So obviously the first question everybody wants to know is you Panthers in 5 or Panthers in 6? What are you taking?
Panthers in the first round.
Oh, okay. All right. So we're not calling games. You've learned. No.
Okay.
Well, yeah,
we're just
right.
by the round. We're just gonna get by the first round. I'm okay with that. So
okay.
Gotcha.
In the NHL playoffs and watch them enough to know any kind of scenario can play out, and you never know what's happening along the line. But the main objective is to get through that first series. The quicker, the better. So you can get stressed before the second round. This team is capable of that, but you also got a Washington team that's got a number of players that just won a Stanley Cup a few years ago, not too long ago. So they got some Stanley Cup pedigree on that other side. They know what it takes. It's not going to be an easy matchup. So we'll see what happens in that first round. It's going to be exciting, but this Panther team is loaded and it looks like they're pretty healthy. See where Aaron Ekblad's going to be at the start if he joins the team during that first round at some point. But those are interesting things. But this Panther team should be ready and blazing to go for game one. The crowd should be off the charts. Electricity in the building. Looking forward to it.
Yeah, outstanding. One of the questions that we had, and this leads right into it, is what do you think the key for the Panthers to beat the Capitals is?
For them, they got to be able. The Panthers have the foot speed. They're quicker, faster team. They got to be able to push the pace. They got to dictate the pace and the style of the game. That's when they're at their best. And just continue. They got to be able to play the four lines, stay out of the penalty box. That power play for Washington hasn't been what it normally has, but it's still very dangerous.
Right.
Last year in the playoffs against Tampa Bay, that was something that hurt the Panthers. Too many penalties, and that Tampa Bay power play is amazing. But this Washington power play is not too far behind it as far as talent that you can put up on the ice. So you got to be able to stay out of the penalty box, play physical brand of hockey, puck possession, and then just go tempo. It's all about tempo and pace. Go for 3 periods. And when you watch this team play, you've seen it. And I talked about it. You just push. And for the other team to try and keep up this team when they're rolling the 4 lines, one after another, it's just like pummel you. And then by the time that third period rolls around,
right.
It just seems like it's really, really tough to keep up with this Panther team when they're playing at their best.
Right. So, this is my question, and then I'll hand it off to Stu for a half a second. I always like to check myself, just like you schooled Stu and I about Ekblad and Uyghur last video, so we appreciate that. No, that's fine. You brought perspective that we had not thought of. So my question is, am I crazy or not? I cannot get it out of my head that at some point we will see a game here or there if we go a full length with rounds of playoffs with Spencer Knight in goal, or is it completely no matter what?
Yeah, it's a possibility. There's a chance, but if everything goes well, you look back at recent history and the team that wins the Stanley Cup, majority of the time, the starting goaltender plays most of the games. Right. And is the guy that's successful and has a really good playoff run. And that's what you're hoping for from Bobrovsky. But as busy as the schedule's going to be, as compact, they want to get this thing going. It looks like you're playing basically every other night. So if you do get into a 7-game series where you're playing every other night and something happens and Bobrovsky has a bad game, maybe he looks fatigued in the series, they're not going to have some hesitation to go to Spencer Knight. But what you really don't want to see is to Bobrovsky have a bad performance and really have to go to Spencer Knight and what you saw last year. performance where you had Bobrovsky, then you had Drieger, then you had Spencer Knight. That is no way to have success in the playoffs. On the other side, you had Andrei Vasilevsky, let in some goals, but he stayed there for the whole series. And when it mattered most, Andrei Vasilevsky made the saves. And that was the difference. So they have to be able to get that quality goaltending right out of the gate from Bobrovsky. And for this Panther team, the goaltending doesn't always have to be great, but it's got to be good. You can't have the bad goals in the playoffs that let your team down. So that's what you're looking for. So consistency in net. There's a chance you'll see Spencer Knight at the course of these playoffs. But if they're raising the Stanley Cup at the end of it, I'm suspecting that Sergei Bobrovsky plays really well, and he plays the majority of the games.
Yep. Right. All right, Stu.
Well, I guess my question is, with playoff hockey being a different animal, do you think that we can still put up the 4 or 5 goals a night, the offense that we've seen for most of the year?
I would just, yes, they can. They'll it won't be at that high rate. I don't believe 4 goals per game average during the playoffs, but 3-4 goals a night, even 3's going to be good enough. You're going to have to win some games 2-1, even 1-0 with a shutout. You're going to have some of those type of games during the course of the playoffs where you're able to shut it down and have some really good defensive performances. But this team is just too talented. They create too many chances throughout the course of a game not to score consistently, unless there's some sort of major breakdown. And this too, through the majority of the year, the power play got a lot better the last 20-30 games. But the first 40-45 games, the power play was ranked around 20th in the league, and they're still putting up 4 or 5 goals a game. The 5-on-5 goal differential was plus 65 on the season. It was by far the best in the NHL. So they continue to put up chances 5-on-5, and a lot of times you need a really good power play to put up those kind of goals. That's not the case with this Panther team. They are able to do it with 5-on-5 even strength hockey, just because they have so many weapons and they create so many good scoring chances throughout the course of the game. They'll score during these playoffs. Maybe not quite at the rate they did during the regular season, because you're not going to mix in non-playoff teams like Buffalo, Detroit, and teams like that. So there's going to be stingier games as it goes around, but they will continue to score during the playoffs.
Right.
I mean, that was my thinking. I mean, why really should it be any different than it was in the regular season? Playing against the same teams and the same players, and we did put up 4, 5, 6 goals against playoff teams.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you'll see that. But what you'll see is, even if you get 3.5 goals average, or 3, around that 3.5 mark, that's good enough in the playoffs.
Right.
Yeah. So that's, if you say your average 4 during the regular season and it comes down to 3.5 in the playoffs, I'm taking my chances at averaging 3.5 goals per game during the playoffs.
Right. Yeah. Even no matter, I mean, all you need at that point, like you said, is just good, competent goaltending, and
that's it.
Yeah, and
that's it, Philly. We need Bob to make the saves when we need the saves.
Right.
It doesn't have to be spectacular or stand on his head, whatever.
And the one underlying number, if you want to pay attention to analytics, goals saved above average on quality shots, Sergei Bobrovsky's top 5 in the NHL. So quality shots, the high danger scoring chances that came at him this year, he was top 5 in that category. So you want to look at the save percentage and everything, but that goes to your point. He made saves when it mattered most this year for the Panthers. He came up in big times at big games, even if he had given up 4 during the course of the game. There was the majority. That was the difference this year for Bobrovsky. When the game was on the line and it mattered most for the majority of the season, he was able to make the saves, and that's why he ended up at that 39 win mark. You don't get the 39 wins without making saves at key times. There was some bad moments in there. There were some struggles, but for the most part, when it mattered most and big saves coming up on high quality chances, Bobrovsky was one of the best.
Yep. So
nothing would make me happier than to see Bob win the Conn Smythe. That would be like the ultimate for all, granted, we know we had a couple of bad years here, but to like have a complete turnaround and kind of like the middle finger to everybody, like, hey,
Right,
so
right.
I wouldn't
So-
rule it up. It was good. Don't look past it. Just you want your goaltender to win, right?
Yeah, no, absolutely, absolutely. So, did oh hold on, I think we lost them. I think we lost you for a half a second there.
there we go.
Okay, there we
Okay.
go. We got you. We got you back. So the next question I have is comparison from last year to this year. And Stu and I have talked about this. The last year, especially with Ekblad out, the defensive depth at 6, 7, 8, 9 was Yandel and Strawman and Kierstedt and Nutovara. And now, I mean, we got Ben Sherratt basically to be 6D, you know what I mean, when we're healthy. So the depth, can you just talk about what that's going to mean? Because I know there's a lot of Panther fans still worried about the defense because in years past, that's been our problem. But can you just talk a little bit about the difference? And I mean, the depth that we have in this team is going to make a huge difference.
Well, you got almost close to 60 goals from your, or 50, 55 goals from your defensemen this year, second behind Colorado in points and goals from your defensemen. So it's a very productive group offensively. The giveaways, they got to be able to limit that. That's one area of weakness. When they get under pressure, there is a tendency to have some giveaways, but it lends to their style of play because they want to go. They want the puck on their stick and they want to attack. So sometimes you're going to have to live with some giveaways. That's why you've seen such good offensive numbers, right? Because they've been willing to push the pace. And sometimes there's a chance to have some giveaways, but that's where you got to pay attention with this Panther team. Just make sure it's on the stick. They're so good offensively that the defensemen, long as they get it on their stick and move it quick, they're usually in pretty good shape. When they start to hold on to it, get under duress, they can make some mistakes. So it's all about, as I go back, the quicker you can move that puck, get the puck going the other way in transition, better off you're going to be. There's enough of a physical element with Gudas back there. Sherratt's a big body that's going to block some shots. Uyghur blocks shots. They're willing to pay the price and protect their goaltender in front of the net. I like there's enough of an edge back there, if you want to call it that, a presence wise, that they're going to make you feel it. And their skating ability to get up on the rush and be that extra layer of attack, make a 3-on-2 or 3-on-3, a 4-on-3, a 2-on-2, a 3-on-2. You've seen it all season long, that they can jump up in the play and be that extra layer of attack on the offense. And that's a great credit to this. It's a really good skating group of defensemen. They all skate extremely well. If you look at Forsling, Montour, Uyghur, all these guys really skate well, so they can recover well if they get caught out of position. So the defensive side of the puck, I like our grouping. I like everything. I like Gudas, his emotional leadership that he brings. The team sort of feeds off his energy that he's able to bring with the big hits and that kind of stuff. So it's a good group pairing back there. They're going to be tested during the playoffs, but it comes back to them just being able to handle the puck, and the puck management would be the biggest issue for me. Just make sure the puck management, especially in the first period at the start of the games, just manage the puck well and take care of it.
Right. All right.
I think that's big key is the first 5 minutes or so where we come ready to play every game. Every game. So
yeah,
as far as
go ahead. we know you have limited time, so Stu and I got to fight over the last question. But I think it's the same question. I don't want to let Stu forget his question. I'm not going to ask Stu's question so he doesn't forget it, because we know you got limited time, Billy. Okay. Just some of your thoughts on the other series.
Yeah. Don't have to go over all of them, but what key series do you think, and maybe some upsets?
The first round series to really watch in the West is Minnesota, St. Louis. You talk about two heavyweights in the West going toe to toe. That series is going to be fun to watch, as is the 2-3 in our division, Tampa Bay, Toronto. That is, you got the two-time Cup champions going against the Leafs that haven't gotten out of the first round in a long time, like the Panthers. A lot of pressure on the Leafs to get through that first round, and Tampa Bay with that pedigree seemed start to turn the corner at the end of the year here. Stamkos was playing unbelievable. Kucherov was playing unbelievable. They go up there against Austin Matthews, 60 goals on the other side. That series, up and down tempo, going after it. That is going to be, it's going to be fun to watch that hockey. The 2-3 matchups, the Rangers and the Penguins, interested to see what the Rangers are all about. Igor Shesterkin, their goaltender, has been phenomenal all year. He's masked a lot of problems for the Rangers, but at the trade deadline with Kopp and Vetrano from us, they were able to fill some holes and be better. So I'm interested to see if Pittsburgh can push and get by Shesterkin, basically, if they can find a way to get around Shesterkin in that 2-3 matchup. And then the Western Conference, Edmonton Oilers, Connor McDavid, Los Angeles Kings, kind of were the team. Vegas, everyone thought Vegas was going to get in, and all of a sudden it was Calgary, Edmonton, and LA was really the surprise team of all of them. Yeah. So interested to see how the Kings match up against this Oilers squad, who's put under a lot of pressure too. Those Canadian teams in those markets, there's some pressure up there to have some playoff success.
Right.
They haven't won a Stanley Cup in Canada since 1993. Wow. And they feel this year with Toronto and with Calgary, and even throw Edmonton in the mix, that they've got a legitimate chance up there in Canada, maybe to have a Stanley Cup champion for the first time since 93.
Wow, that's almost 30 years. I didn't realize
that's wild. That's
crazy.
Well, I predicted if anybody has a chance to take Colorado down, it's Calgary. I think they're the team, but don't be surprised if you see the Kings take Edmonton down in 7.
Yeah, the Kings, the only interest, they got on Kopitar and Philip Deneau, two of the best two-way centermen in the league. And we saw what Deneau did last year for the Canadians as far as a shutdown defenseman. So when you got Kopitar and Deneau, you got the ability maybe to shut down Draisaitl and McDavid. So you're going to see really two offensive centermen, Draisaitl and McDavid, go against the two of the top 200-foot players in Deneau and are on the other side. That makes that an intriguing watch. And the goaltending in Edmonton, does Mike Smith, 40 years old, is a 40-year-old goaltender leading the charge. We'll see what happens.
Right. All right, Billy, we really appreciate it. We know you're busy. Everybody's going to be busy the next 2 months. Not a lot of sleep for many of us, especially you. You've got it going on. Are you up to 4 coasts yet now? Because I know you're up and down the coast. Let's get anytime soon. You're going to be heading over to Hollywood too. You and Steve Goldstein, the two busiest people on the face of the earth. It's unbelievable, but it's great.
It's fun. Yeah, it's fun. Go ahead. It's I enjoy both parts of it, and man, am I excited for these playoffs. Nervous. I got the nervous excitement, probably just like you guys do. There's nerves in there, but it's a really good nervous feeling with just teaming with a bunch of excitement. So cannot wait to get started for game 1.
Yep.
Listen, if you guys got the NHL network, you definitely got to catch Billy. I mean, it's tough for him to not show his bias when he's on air, but he does a good job. But I think all the rest of the on-air personalities know he's he's Panther through and through.
Yeah,
but
they know which team.
But anyway, we'll do this again. I'm really sorry, Randy couldn't join us today, but I'm sure maybe after the first round we'll be able to get you guys back on. But thanks for taking the time, much appreciated. I'm sure all the viewers appreciate you coming on, answering questions and whatnot. And let's go Cats, man. Tuesday night.
All right, but thanks, Billy. Yep.
And enjoy these playoffs and keep up the good work, guys. Appreciate it.
Yeah, appreciate it. Yeah, we'll do. All right. Bye-bye.
Thanks, guys.